Hey kids, I went a bit far with my last go-to video, so I'm reining it in by putting the fish back on synchro summoning. Just didn't feel right forcing these beautiful creatures to do something they weren't naturally inclined to do. Naturally, I am also on super heavy. This whole deck came about because I was looking through the cards I have haphazardly strewn about my desk because I'm a fucking slob. I realized I just kind of had the full deck cores for both archetypes, and figured there was probably something I could do with them. The goal is to make like a bunch of nuts synchro bosses with up to 2 tunas going back on your opponent's turn to make even more synchro bosses after you expend your Baron and Borreload negates. Most of it is pretty self-explanatory, just the basic deck cores and 9 hand traps. The extra inside are where I start having to explain myself with some things. Really, the 3 cards in the extra worth noting are Anima to help Stealthy convert into slightly more or breaking ability, as well as Masurawo as a big beefy man I can summon under a super heavy lock that also happens to draw me some cards. And Dweller is just really good in the mirror, and sometimes it bumps my board. In the side is where a lot of things just kind of are. It's kind of just randomly thrown together with cards I happen to have because I just cannot be asked to put together anything with depth. We've got the 3 Bestials that I own, 3 Ghost Sister to give me something cheesy to win in time with that isn't exactly Sarutobi, 3 Nibiru to keep cheeky cash players in their place, and 3 Retaliating Sea because it's probably good into Purely. And to finish things off, Watcherath gives me a monster with a tough, leathery, prehensile tongue, ideal for picking leaves off of thorny branches. For our first game, we'll be going up against Ra. Just a whole bunch of cards here that mention the Egyptian gods and Ra, I guess. We are going first, and we have opened our starter. We're going to go ahead and scale Wakaushi. Wakaushi is going to scale Benkei and summon itself. That's going to allow Benkei to search for a copy of Soul Piercer. We're going to normal Soul Piercer, then we go for Scarecrow, trigger the Soul Piercer. We're going to go grab Bike. Bike is going to trade out for a copy of Scales. We're going to discard Scales to Scarecrow to summon Scales. Scales is going to summon back the Soul Piercer. Now we're going to go ahead and synchro to Ass Dragon, triggering in sequence all of our effects. Stop me if you've seen this one before. We're going to summon back Bike and search for Soul Peacemaker, then equip Soul Peacemaker to Scarecrow. Now we're going to go ahead and trade off the Soul Peacemaker for a copy of Wakaushi. We'll summon Arion Post and banish a copy of Paces, and then make Bird to Fleur, triggering Arion Post to banish itself and search Lifeless Leaf Fish. Here we're going to go ahead and Pendulum summon the Wakaushi, the Leaf Fish, and Snopios, and as well as Wagon. We're going to go ahead and activate all of our effects in sequence. Snopios is going to be banished when it leaves the field. Wagon's going to change the defense, and Lifeless Leaf Fish is going to mill Shift. We're going to go ahead and search a card with Wagon, then equip it with a couple of equips. We're just going to minus ourselves for no fucking reason. We don't need the Soul Guy Booster. We'll make Baron and then trigger Shift to pump the Snopios. Then we'll make Brave Masurawo with Ass Dragon and pass during our opponent's turn. We are going to get both our tunas back. That's why I didn't trade this Masurawo out for something else. We're going to Ashley Extravagance, and then they're going to allow us to draw 2 off of that. They're going to Foolish the Sun God, and then Ancient Chant the Ra. That's going to allow us to troll, and our opponent is going to concede. For our next game, we'll be going up against this deck I still can't pronounce. We are going to be going second. They're going to start off with, here is the menu. That's going to add a couple cards. I guess this is pre-pep. Then they're going to Fish Recipe, the level 1. That lets them, I guess it's like Duality. Sure. They're going to add a card. Then they're going to activate the Meat Recipe for the level 3, then they'll normal Diviner, and then send Herald of the Arclight. Herald is going to grab Fish Recipe, and wait, why are these Beast Warriors? Oh my god, this deck gets Twin Revolt? It's hilarious. We're going to start off by scaling Wakaushi. Wakaushi is going to get us the Benkei. We're going to activate Benkei. Benkei is going to grab us a Soul Piercer. Totally unnecessary, totally played into Droll there, but it is what it is. We're going to grab Bike. Bike is going to grab Scales. We're going to pitch Scales for Scales. That's going to allow us to summon back the copy of Soul Piercer. Now we'll make Ass Dragon, trigger in sequence all of our effects. A sentence I've said way too many times in the last 2 weeks. We're going to add Soul Peacemaker, then make Baron. Now we're going to, now that we're under a negate, we are now clear to target a card on the field. So this level 3 can't do anything. We're going to summon Wakaushi using Soul Piercer and then make Borreload Savage. We'll go ahead and add Bike to hand. Now we're going to go ahead and Pendulum summon Wakaushi, Bike, Wagon, and Leaf Fish. We're going to activate Leaf Fish. I should have summoned this Wagon in attack mode so I could chain block. We're going to add Soul Guide Booster to make a Rion Post using the Bike, the Leaf Fish, banishing Paces. That's going to trigger Ixeep. And it's at this point where our opponent will concede. For our next game, we'll be going up against Arcana Force. I know, it's a big step down from the last couple of games, but listen, okay? I drew my Watt Giraffe. Alright, I'm justifying my niche tech here, okay? Okay. I don't want to hear any complaints. They're going to trade in, discard the world, and make me fucking shit myself. Then they're going to terraforming for Light Barrier, activate Arcana Reading. That's going to allow them to search for another copy of the world. They'll set the Fool and pass. I haven't read any of the cards in their hand except Christia. That one of them could be a hand trap. We're going to normal Watt Giraffe, get in direct. They cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the turn. We'll special Stealthy and equip a Soul Piercer that makes Scarecrow. It's going to allow us to search a copy of Wakaushi. We're going to scale Waka. Waka's going to summon from deck Ben K. I should have gone through Bike first, but it's fine. We're going to add Soul Guide Booster with Big Ben K, then pitch Shift for Soul Piercer, giving us a level 2 for this to summon, but we're going to go into Bike anyway. That's going to let us make Arion Post, chain blocking the Soul Piercer by banishing Paces and adding Wakaushi. We're going to make Barone, then trigger in sequence Arion Post to search, and Wakaushi to scale. We're going to summon the Ixeep from our hand, and then shift to pump it up. Now we're going to go ahead and Pendulum summon 2, then pop the set face down, and Borreload Savage ends our turn. During their standby phase, they're going to flip a coin and get heads, and we're going to summon back both of our Tunas, and our opponent will concede. For our next game, we'll be going up against Danger Dark World. Looks like they're on a 45 card deck. I don't really get why. We're going first. We're going to scale Waka. Waka effect is going to scale Ben K. Summon itself. We're going to activate Ben K. Grab, you guessed it, Soul Piercer. We're going to normal Soul Piercer. Go into Scarecrow. Search for Bike. Pitch Bike. Bike is going to get us 2 scales. We're going to pitch Scales. Summon the Scales. Trigger the Scales. That's going to summon back the Soul Piercer. Now we're going to make Ass Dragon. Trigger in sequence all of our effects. We'll scale Waka, summon back Bike, and search for Soul Peacemaker. We're going to make Arion Post, and Arion Post is going to banish a copy of Paces. Then we're going to go ahead and Soul Piercer away the Scarecrow for Wakaushi. We're going to summon Barone, and then search for a copy of Ixeep. That's going to trigger the Ixeep to summon itself. Because we already have the Shift, no reason to get Lifeless Leaf Fish. We're going to Pendulum summon 3, and then make it so Shift is banished when it leaves the field. We'll make Borreload Savage, and then tribute off the Ass Dragon for a Towers Adrian. We're going to get both of our Tunas back in the standby phase, and this represents a lot of interruption. They're going to alert, banish the Grapha, and upon seeing that they have a pretty dubious hand, they're probably not going to crack through all of this, especially with Adrian. They concede. And now for our last game, we'll be going up against Naturia Runic. They have the play, and it looks like they haven't opened as many Runic spells as they probably want to. They're going to start with Fountain and then activate Slumber, chain blocking the effect to draw with Hugin, pitching Sacred Tree. I'm going to Ash this Sacred Tree, hoping that this is one of those hands where they draw too much Runic and not enough Naturia to actually go off. The hope was that since I have Ghost Ogre, I could potentially screw them over on the Runic stuff during my turn, use it by cutting them on Fountain when they went to redraw, but unfortunately their hand was completely different than what I expected. They're going to normal Camellia, mill the Fountain, and then mill the Sacred Tree. Then they're going to make Coral Dragon, activate the second Fountain, and then go into Jerry with Flashing Fire. That's going to let them draw 1 and put back Fountain. Now they're going to make Barone, draw 1 more card. Foolish Burial Goods, the third and final tree for a copy of Blessing. They're going to set both Blessings and pass. We draw the second Ghost Ogre just in time. They've been chain blocking all their Fountains, by the way, so I haven't had a profitable Ghost Ogre. We're going to seal Waka. They're going to go Camellia. We're going to activate Waka, and our opponent will Barone to negate and destroy. We're going to normal Wagon. Wagon's effect is going to activate. They're going to activate Camellia and then chain Blessing. That's going to summon Sunflower and Mole Cricket. I'm going to special summon Stealthy because it is an inherent summon. Then attempt to go battle phase. They're going to Mole Cricket. I'm going to walk over both Mole Cricket and Sunflower because Wagon can attack and defense, then switch to attack for Soul Piercer. Then we're going to link off for Scarecrow, triggering the Scarecrow. I keep this Stealthy on field because I want to profit off this Freezing Curses that they milled for Camellia. Anyway, we are going to search Soul Peacemaker, and they're going to summon back Mole Cricket. I'm going to pitch this Ghost Ogre for a copy of Soul Piercer, and then Soul Peacemaker for a copy of Waka Ushi. We're going to synchro into Ass Dragon, triggering in sequence all of our effects. We're going to scale the Waka, summon back the Motorbike, and search for a Big Ben K so I can Pendulum Summon later. I'm now going to go ahead and search for a Soul Guy Booster, equipping it to Motorbike, and then summoning itself. Then I'm going to go ahead and make Arion Post. Arion Post is going to banish Paces, and we're going to Pendulum Summon the Waka Ushi. We'll make Baron de Fleur, banishing this Arion Post for a Lifeless Leaf Fish on the follow-up, pop their Baron, and then steal the Freezing Curses with Stealthy. So that way I can activate it next turn. In the standby phase, I'm going to activate Paces. They're going to Flashing Fire the Baron. I'll negate the Baron. From there, the goal here is on resolution. I burn the negate so that way I can tag Baron into some flavor of tuner, so that way I can get more value out of the Ass Dragon than I normally would. They're going to go for Camellia. I'll Freezing Curses the Camellia, and they will concede. I don't think I should have to explain how much I like this deck. It's a combination of the two things I love, Forcing and Goatee and Super Heavy. The only way this would be more tailored to me personally is if it had Ogdoadics in there too. I don't think I'll play it much over Super Heavy Teller given the opportunity to choose, but it's still a really good time.